Now listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime. That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Mac's World. And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
Good afternoon. It is 3:07 in the afternoon on a Friday. On a Friday. I just said that and I realized, Jeb, we started the show all wrong. We should have been playing my Friday song. Every time I say Friday, I hear of it. Maybe later we'll have the Friday song. This is Chris Roloff filling in for J. Michael McCoy one more time this week. This is Mac's World Live on The Truth, 99.3 FM. We're live. We're local right here in Des Moines. Normal cast of characters are with us on our broadcast today. Jeb, as you've already recognized, I mentioned he's producing the broadcast today. So he's with us as always. Bob Montserrat, the cat in the hat, watching the chat. And the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993 is here. You know, it's really funny. I wonder how many people, Bob, even know what we're talking about when we say cat in the hat watching the chat. We've been saying that about you for so long that it just rolls off our tongue. And most people don't even know that there's a way that they can chat because most people are listening on the radio.
Yeah, you know, and there's a reason I wear a hat.
Yeah.
It's because Jeb would have a problem, you know, with adjusting the camera, lighting, and everything because of the big white shiny thing coming off my head. So
you have a white shiny thing on your head?
Yeah, it's called no hair.
Oh.
and so wearing a black hat, it's very easy to, you know, do the white balance and everything.
And that's what it's for, yeah.
But you do foul us up, Bob, when you wear a white hat. Black is much better.
Black is much better. And that smooth, sultry voice
is the verse.
Is Frank the verse. So the regular cast of characters are here today, but we have three special guests with us on the program today because today is a very exciting broadcast, one that I've been looking forward to all week, actually, and talked a little bit about yesterday, and that is that the folks from SWIM, Safe Water International Ministries, are here. So I'm going to go from this side to this side. How about that? That's theater of the mind, right? Yep. This side to this side. So you can imagine at home what direction that is. See, I leave it up to you. First, we have Terry Butler. Terry, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for letting us be here today.
Oh, man, I'm so excited about this. Now, we've had you on, Terry, before.
Yes.
And you came on with Fritz not too long ago, but we're glad to have you back. And to your right would be Terry, already going to mess this up, Pollard. I was going to say Poole. But I don't know why I have Terry Poole in my head. I don't know who that is. Terry Pollard is here. He's wearing orange for those in the radio audience. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, you told us
this is fabulous.
You told us in the break that this is not the first time you've been behind a microphone on the radio before.
Been behind quite a few times, actually. It's been a few years, but yeah, 2 or 3 years in the Central Missouri area and then the Kansas City metro area. So spent a little time behind the mic.
Now, sure. Terry Butler, some people are familiar with. We're going to get to know you a little bit more. You are a pastor in New Sharon, Iowa, right?
I am pastor in New Sharon United Methodist Church.
Fantastic.
Been there since 2011, so I'm in year number 6.
Fantastic. And to your right is Earl.
Good afternoon.
I'll just start there.
All right.
Earl.
Terry is my pastor.
There you go. Terry Pollard is your pastor.
He is my pastor.
And I claim Earl.
There you guys. This is great.
Tag team.
Yes, tag team.
Now, Earl, this is not, I guess I missed the last time. I was not in this chair the last time you were with us, Earl.
Right. Terry and I were here together with Mac.
Terry Butler
and I were here together.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
We should go Terry B.
Terry B.
And Terry P. But that sounds pretty close.
That's
together.
Almost just as bad. I don't know what we're going to do.
Go Terry Wayne and Terry Butler. Let's do that.
Terry Wayne?
Yeah, that's my middle name.
Yeah, so. that's an Iowa-sounding thing. Terry Wayne.
Good. Yeah.
I'm going to do that. See, I'm from Texas, so I can pick on you. That'd be all right.
He's John Wayne's smaller brother.
Yes. Smaller, emphasis on smaller.
Now, Earl, Safe Water International Ministries, what's your role over there?
I am currently the president. That's my title, but my role is
chief bottle washer.
It's Bottle washer. It's the cat chaser. It's like herding cats, right?
Yeah, no, I bet. Now, you guys are, what's so neat. Now, Earl, where's home for you?
I live in New Sharon, a couple miles east of town, and grew up there, moved away 10 years. Now I've been back for 30 plus years.
Fantastic. And, one of the things that was pointed out a little bit earlier this week to me is we're talking about Safe Water International Ministries on the radio right now, beyond this program, kind of on a regular basis. Someone pointed out how cool it is that this ministry, and we're going to learn about what Safe Water does, what you guys do, but it's cool that it's based right here in Iowa. Mm-hmm. This is a homegrown ministry based here in Iowa and reaches around the world.
We think it is. We, in fact, struggle sometimes because we don't have a building with an address on it. So many times you'll see our post office box. And it's like, yeah, but where are you? It's like, well, we're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Yeah. So we do all our work. We have a trailer that we do our work out of, and we have garages that we obviously work out of, and we go to churches to do some of the work. So one of the things about giving to our ministry is that the money goes directly to help people, not to utilities, not to repair a building, not to pay rent. So every dime that comes to us goes to help people. We're
absolutely
proud of that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's one of the nice things. You know that when you give to Safe Water International Ministries that it's not going to fund a gigantic building.
Or salary. Nobody has a salary.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Terry, are you aware? Terry Butler, are you aware that there's no salary?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, because you work pretty hard, bud. And
we're 7 guys in a garage, and it's all volunteers.
Faithful volunteers. So let's start at the beginning. Anybody, whoever wants to take this question, tell me what Safe Water International Ministries is.
If you look at our ministry, our vision is sharing Christ's love through water and his word. And so in looking historically, when we started in 2004, it's apparent that there's such a need for chlorine to be able to disinfect water to make it safe to drink, because so many places don't have access to it, and the water they do drink carries diseases. And with those waterborne diseases, in some of the places we've been, 7 out of 10 children or 8 out of 10 will die before the age of 5. And so understanding that, the people that have come together to help develop this technology have just a passion. I think this year we shipped CPUs, chlorine-producing units, to 25 countries. It's just amazing how this technology works just from table salt, and the ability to some of the places we went in 2 months, the infant mortality rate is down to 1 out of 10.
That's fantastic. I've learned, like many listeners, many 99.3 listeners, I've learned about Safe Water International Ministries from interviews like this, hearing the stories of what you guys shared, and I'm falling more and more in love with what you guys are doing, and it's really cool. Frank, you had something you needed to say.
Well, I wanted to ask a question of these 3 gentlemen. In your opinion, should we spread the gospel first or meet temporal needs first?
Let me answer that just maybe one way, okay? I'm going to use an example from my own ministry. I started traveling to the country of Haiti in 1979.
Right.
Haiti's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. So the last 7 to 9 years, I've done a lot of intervention, poverty intervention in communities, meeting with leaders in the community. I sit them all down. They know I'm there as a pastor. I do leadership training. We do that in the communities. But I bring the community leaders together, and I ask them to name the top 3 needs in their community. Number 1, every time, is clean water.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have clean water, you don't have anybody to share the good news with, because people die because of infectious water.
Well, that's exactly what I think the mission is. Christ was sitting at a well and asked a Samaritan woman to give him a refreshing drink. He was looking for a temporal need at the time to quench his thirst, but he quickly pivoted after he refreshed himself, or she refreshed herself with a drink of water. He quickly pivoted that conversation to the eternal, drink the eternal water. So I would suggest that you're right, you're spot on. We don't go over to proselytize and evangelize people. We go over to meet a need. And then in meeting that need, they're more receptive to hearing the gospel.
So let me tell you what happens. If you have a tool like Safe Water offers, and you can be right there, you share what it takes to get clean water with something as simple as what Safe Water is doing, and they're going to tell you more about that. When you're finished doing that, and I've seen it happen in Nicaragua, I've seen it happen in Haiti, when you get done sharing that, immediately you can turn it on a hinge and start talking about the living water.
Right.
You already have a captive audience because you first of all helped make a difference in their community.
Right.
And they see the reason you're there is to help them. And they're open ears, listening ears to hear about the living water. And it becomes very evangelistic at that point. And this is kind of the practical thing I've seen about Safe Water, because I've seen it on the ground working in remote villages where nobody gets to go except on purpose.
And that's wonderful, and that's the way it should be. There is some ministries out there that are looking to turn a buck and turn a profit, and that's obviously not you guys.
So let me just use one other example, and then I'll let Earl speak to this. Earl and I went to Haiti a couple of years ago together. We went into a village in Haiti where there was an orphanage. They had this blockhouse building that was built, and it had all of this equipment. Remember, Earl? Had all of this equipment. Probably $10,000 to $15,000 worth of water purification equipment, but it wasn't working. It was sitting there, and the reason it wasn't working is because they couldn't afford to get the parts to get it fixed, so therefore they weren't getting any clean water.
Terry Pollard is the voice you're hearing. He and others are here. We're learning about Safe Water International Ministries and the work that they're doing around the world on 99.3 FM The Truth. We're going to hear more about this orphanage in Haiti when we get back.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. It is 3:21 in the afternoon on a Friday, and we are having so much fun because I, for one, am so excited to have the guys from Safe Water International Ministries in studio with us for the next 2 hours. You've heard me talk about already on the radio, possibly even in the break that we just heard, that if you can imagine the water that we drink every day here in the United States, you know, I'm going to be getting installed a reverse osmosis system in my house from the Culligan guys, and I'm excited about that because I've tasted and I've seen that it was good, right? I like the reverse osmosis water, and it takes all kinds of stuff out of our water. And we actually had a listener call in and say, you know, tap water isn't so bad. You guys make it sound like it's the worst thing in the whole world. Well, you know, it's perspective. Here in the United States, you just walk up to your tap, turn that thing on, drink that water. It's not going to be filled with infection, with anything that's going to make you sick, make you vomit, possibly kill you. But in remote villages all over the world, people are dying from drinking water that they have to drink because we have to have water to survive, but this water has infection in it. And Safe Water International Ministries has built a tool that they take to these people, that they send with Christian missionaries to take to these places to purify that water, to get the disease, the infection out of it. And those are the guys here with me. Terry Butler is with me. Terry Pollard is with me. Two Terrys together, Terry Blue, Terry Orange, and Earl Green. Hey, I like board games. This is like Clue. Mr. Green, Mr. Orange, and Mr. Blue. Only one of those is actually a Clue character. Okay, I digress. Hey, if you want to ask the guys from Safe Water International Ministries a question, maybe you've heard me talk about Safe Water International on the radio, and you have a question for these guys, call us at 515-244-0077, or if you just want to get information on how you can donate, you can do that by calling 515-244-0077, or you can send us a text at 515-809-0993. We'd love to hear from you. Terry Pollard, you were telling us a story about you went to Haiti and you saw this orphanage. Pick us back up. You said that, if I remember this correctly, you said they had a water filtration system, but tell me more about that system.
So picking up on the story, there's about 100 children at the orphanage. So they had just basically a block building that when you walked into the building, it's just a water purification system.
Right.
Very mechanical, lots of pieces and parts to it, expensive pieces, provided by some other entity, outside entity. And when we walked in and the director of the orphanage says, well, we have all this, but it's not working because we can't get the parts for it. And the reason they couldn't get the parts is because they didn't have the money to afford the parts for whatever was broken down in the system. And regretfully, in this case, the entity that had provided this for them wasn't interested in helping them any longer. So in other words, we gave you this, so operate it. Well, obviously, Earl's looking it over and realizing how much somebody had tried to help likely in just good nature, but in an attempt to help, they'd actually hurt more than help because they'd provided something that the Haitians couldn't afford. And furthermore, didn't even know how to fix.
That's right. They couldn't operate. I've been in situations like that. You know, I mean, if I won't even tell those stories. So right, exactly. If you don't know how to operate the thing, it just becomes a burden.
Yeah.
It really becomes a burden. So
Earl entered into the picture in that.
Well, let me ask you, Chris.
Go ahead.
On your reverse osmosis, do you have a filter you have to replace?
I haven't gotten it installed yet. They're going to be coming. I'm going to be getting it.
You do have a filter you have to replace.
You'll have a filter.
The reason this system did not work was because they had to change a removable, replaceable filter. $30 a month. $30 to us is nothing, basically. To them, it's everything.
Well, consider
they're adults. Yeah. They're adults when they go to work, make $2 a day, maybe.
And
we're talking about a replaceable filter. They did not have the money to change the filter on that device.
And that was stopping them from getting clean, safe
just
water.
Just a $30 filter. But here's the deal. I don't know how often those had to be replaced.
Every month.
And we say, well, $30, exactly, no big deal. But some of them only make $1 a day. And that's to provide for families and the orphanage itself. So from a practical standpoint, they can't afford it.
So was
Now,
somebody?
I could stand there and hand them $30 and say, go get a filter.
Right.
But that's only going to carry them for 30 days.
So
But I had another solution.
was anyone willing to donate them a
No.
load of filters?
No. They were left to themselves with a block building and a mechanical system that cost $10,000 to install, and walked off and left them. You know, expecting that perhaps they would be able to find someone who could help them get filters. Well, obviously, the burden of it was that Earl sees that, and the missionary that was with us sees that and realizes you could do much more for the community with something on a much simpler scale that doesn't take any additional finances.
Absolutely. Earl, tell us about this thing. We have one of these in the studio here, and I could hold it in my hand, the whole device. Now it's bigger than what would fit in my hand, but it's not very heavy, it's not very large. Tell our listeners about this thing here.
If you take this device and you plug it into a 12-volt battery, car battery, motorcycle battery, and you take table salt that's on your kitchen table or on your restaurant table,
yeah,
and you mix it with water, shake it up. When it's plugged into the battery, you pour it through electrolysis. It converts the salt water into a weak chlorine solution. It has titanium electrodes inside of it. One's coated with ruthenium, the other one's just titanium, and it does the electrolysis process and turns it into chlorine, about a 0.7% solution.
Now, what does this chlorine do? Why is going through the effort of taking salt water, putting it through this, and creating the chlorine? Why is that?
We then take the chlorine that we've made and we add it to a liter of water, about 10 drops per liter. After 30 minutes, it will have killed the bacteria that was causing disease, diarrhea, cholera, all those diseases that are so common in the developing world.
This chlorine kills the bacteria, the infection, the Ebola in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And how much chlorine does one of these devices produce?
We have some communities, well, it depends. You can scale it up. So we have one community that's taken the cap off the bottom and they put it in 5-gallon buckets of water, and they'll make 10 gallons of chlorine a day.
It's 10 gallons of chlorine.
10
and that's not what they're going to drink.
No.
That's 5 gallons of the chlorine solution, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And that will treat water to make it safe for 50,000 people.
That's assuming that every individual drinks a half a gallon a day.
Mm-hmm.
It'll treat that much water.
50,000 gallons.
Now, the people in the village, do they understand the concept of certain amount of drops per a certain amount of water? Do they grasp that? And
yeah, we actually have a really very simple card that shows exactly if you're using a certain size container, how many drops, or you can even use a bottle cap from a Coca-Cola bottle. Trying to think of things that you can use that would be available when we put this card together. So when we train them, so it's very simple for them to figure out how to use it.
Let me just let our listeners know right now. If you want to see one of these things and how it works, we can send you a video. We can send a video to your phone right now. It's very simple. All you need to do is text the word swim. So grab your phone, enter the word swim, and the phone number I want you to send the word swim to is 515-251-2663. So that's 515-251-2663. Text the word swim right now, and you're going to get an automatic response. It'll show you a video of this chlorine-producing unit. Safe Water International Ministries calls it a CPU. I sometimes talk about it as a portable safe water device. You'll get to see this thing in action, a direct link to a YouTube video. Just text the word swim to 515-251-2663. Send that text right now, and we'll get you some information so you can see what this thing looks like. This is an incredible device. And now, Pastor Terry, back to your story here. You think here's this $10,000 piece of equipment, this huge piece of machinery, needed a $30 filter. It wasn't working. It wasn't doing anything. And this was just to help this one orphanage. You said there was, 100 kids there?
100 kids.
There were 100 kids. This thing sitting in front of me, this chlorine-producing unit, this portable safe water device, in a matter of minutes, can produce enough chlorine solution to purify water to not only take care of the water for those kids, but their community around them.
And so the other piece of that is that most of these places that have those, they have some kind of a draw for the community. Remember that, Earl? They had some kind of a spigot out the window where the community could come and get water.
Yeah.
So not only did it not provide, now that it wasn't working, wasn't providing any water for the orphanage, but wasn't providing any water for the community, for people who depended on it.
Right. And this little piece of equipment, really, you got to see it, and I can't show it to you on the radio, and I am not good enough to describe this with my words. So send the word swim to 515-251-2663, and I'll send you automatically. You'll get a link to a video you can watch how this thing works, and this thing would radically transform that community. Radically. Now, Earl and Terry, somebody tell me. So that was a $10,000 water filtration system that they had. So if this thing can take care of the entire community, this has got to be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, right? For one of these things. That's sarcasm.
It was.
So
was that.
You're good at that.
We to go back to your design here briefly, if you can visualize plumbing that you buy in the plumbing store, a 3-inch to 2-inch reducer with a little bit of a 2-inch extension on it. That's how it started out. It was the white PVC you buy in a hardware store.
Right.
Well, those were very time-consuming to make. Took an hour and a half to cut them out with a saw. It was dangerous cutting them with a radial arm saw or table saw, either one. We now injection mold them. So we have about $25 in the making of this part. We can make them in 10 minutes. We can mass produce them, and that is what's been so exciting the past few years, is that now we see a potential. Instead of just supporting our founder, who was in Nicaragua, he'd come back and make them every 3 months, and then he'd go back and distribute them. Now we have a great opportunity to spread them around the world inexpensively and in number.
And we say the kit for this device, which is all the setup and the instructions that Terry was talking about, also discipleship material and that sort of thing, that kit is $50, right?
$50, correct. Yep.
It's $50 for this kit that'll provide enough safe, clean, infection-free, life-giving water for 10,000 people. I mean, I can't do the math to what that is. What is that? That's like 2 cents, isn't it? 2 cents a person? Am I doing my math right? I don't know. Somebody Google it.
Well, it's not just about money. I mean, that's important. You're saving a life.
Right.
You're saving children's lives. You're saving lives in an entire community, so that missionaries can come in and share the good news.
Now, when you go into some of these villages and whatever, I assume it's pretty well received. I assume they understand their sicknesses is predominantly coming from the water they drink. Do you find any resistance or pushback from, I don't know, somebody like a witch doctor that thinks that's voodoo that you're trying to do something with?
You know, in looking at the places we've been, one of the things that we bring with us sometimes, if we're going as a board member, and we recommend for others sometimes, especially if there's a real language barrier, is to bring a microscope. And there's this really cool digital microscope for about $300 that'll fit in a suitcase, and you can show them the bugs swimming around on the screen, and then you treat the water, then you put the water back on the slide, and they can see that the bugs slowly stop and they're no longer moving. They die. So, I mean, it's just like the light bulb goes off with people when you do that. I mean, it's such a neat little device to be able to show people something they can't see with the naked eye.
If you want to see how this portable safe water device works, do a special thing today on Mac's World. Text the word SWIM to 515-251-2663. If you've got questions or would like to find out how you can donate, call us right now, 515-244-0077. That's the regular number you can get in touch with Jeb. We've got more when we come back.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Homs,
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're gonna make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Good afternoon. It is 3:38. This is Max World Live on 99.3 FM, The Truth. Chris Roloff filling in. The regular cast of characters are here. This is Max World, just like you've always come to know and love. Jebediah is producing, and you can call in with your questions or comments about anything that's going on today's broadcast as normal, 515-244-0077, or you can send us a text at 515-809-0993. Our guests today are the folks from Safe Water International Ministries. And Terry Butler, you've been here before, so I want to talk a little bit to Terry Pollard, who's a pastor, and just listening to you in the break, we got to hear a little bit of this. So, Pastor Terry Pollard, what got you excited about Safe Water International Ministries?
Okay, so I came to New Sharon in 2011. I was pastoring up in Northwest Iowa, got appointed to serve at New Sharon. And when I arrived, the church I pastor, United Methodist Church, has been supporting SWIM from its inception. The brainchild of Greg and Vicki Stout, and Greg's a part of our church family. So our church was giving heavily to it, and I'm the kind of a person, I want to put a face with the money. I want to see where's the money going. So I spoke to Earl, said, Earl, I want to go to Nicaragua because that's where I was acquainted with it. We were pumping a lot of money in because that's where Greg and Vicki were, And so I said, I want to go. I want to see this firsthand. If I'm going to get up and ask my people to give to it, I want to know what's happening. So we went to Nicaragua, took a mission trip. Earl, I don't know who else was with us on that one. I thought, my wife was with me. Actually, yes, my wife was with me.
I'm surprised you remember me and not her.
Yeah, don't tell her that. Anyway, she's probably listening. But so went to Nicaragua, and my reason for going, I just said I want to be a silent partner. I don't need to preach. I don't need to teach. I just want to go. I want to see what God's doing through this ministry. And I can tell you, my wife and I'm usually not speechless, but I was absolutely speechless. I could not believe we'd go into these remote places in Nicaragua. I mean, we're going back in places where you couldn't hardly get with a bicycle. And we're going into these places, and there's a general meeting place that they've decided, a community building or hut or house or whatever, just some place where everybody could gather. It's already been prearranged. And these community people come in, not necessarily leaders, just common people in the community, And Greg gets up and starts talking to him, showing him this unit. He's got one there. He starts explaining to him what's happening. He shows them how dirty their water is. He's actually got samples there. And I'm sitting there silent, just watching this take place and looking at these people. And just to see almost in front of your eyes, I mean, it puts tears in your eyes, in front of your eyes, these people are just like, this is like what we need in our community. And so Greg goes through the whole process and, checking out the water. And then at the end, shows them their clean water. So it's a difference between black water and clear water. I mean, you see it happen right in front of your eyes. And these people are just like, this is amazing. And they like, when can we start this? How do we do this? and the neat thing about it is that when Greg would share that, on a dime, he would turn it. He had this little gospel Rubik cube that you could turn different pieces of it. And of course, that's a visual image. And he'd sit there before he ever told them what they were going to get. Like, we're going to leave one of these in your community, and we've got somebody appointed. He would immediately turn on a dime and say, I want to talk to you about the living water. Of course, he's speaking in Spanish, so that's what Earl's telling me he's saying. But he starts talking about Jesus, the living water. It basically gives the plan of salvation. And these people are just captivated. They will listen to the gospel because you have come in there telling them we're going to give you clean water. And then he has testaments and Bibles, and he's given these out to everybody who wants to take one. If you'd like to have one, we'll give you a Bible as well. And I don't think I've seen in all my travels in Haiti or Nicaragua when they were doing that, anybody ever refuse a Bible. We're talking about government leaders in Nicaragua who arranged for Greg to get into these communities. The only way you can get in there is through a government leader because it's through the health system. So you have the government on your side, and he's handing Bibles to these government leaders in Nicaragua along with whoever's in those communities. It's just amazing. It's just incredible that something that simple really brings life to a community. And so obviously It wasn't hard for me to come back to my church and say, hey, whatever you're doing, keep doing because you got it right.
Yeah.
And so it's not hard for me to say the word swim at my church, and they know what it is.
Yeah.
They've got the face to it, and a few of them have been there, but many of them haven't, but they've seen the difference that it makes. They've heard the stories.
Well, Pastor Terry Pollard is our guest. So is Earl and Terry Butler, all three of them with Safe Water International Ministries, and that's the organization. You can go to swimforhim.org right now to learn more about this work. But, Bob, I was listening to him, Pastor Terry Pollard. We just talked about on this program yesterday. We ended the broadcast yesterday looking at 1 Thessalonians. And Paul said, I did not come to you with cunning words, but I came to you with power. This is miraculous, powerful work. I mean, it changes the lives of a community, literally, because we have people who are suffering because of infected water, where people in their community are dying and are sick, and this small little device that I can hold in my hand, easy to understand instructions, easy to operate, is given to them, transforms their water, changing the death rate, and now they're receptive to hear, why would you come? Why would you funny-looking man come to this place
bald-headed,
with this
two of us,
with this weird thing and do this for us? Why would you do that? And you can tell them that because you're valuable, because you were created in the image of God, and that God has come to talk to you today, and I'd like to tell you about it. How cool is that?
I mean, Earl, essentially, that's what Greg tells them.
Exactly.
God loves you. We love you. And we're not asking for anything from you, because a lot of times you're suspect. You go in, they think you're wanting something from them. You're actually there to give them something. I mean, Terry, you've seen that literally around the world.
Yep. I think of a couple of scripture verses that come to mind when you're standing there in front of somebody and you're trying to explain, because the question will come up, why are you doing this? Why are you here? Mm-hmm. And I've had that asked to me from all sorts of folks. And you say, there's this guy named Jesus, and he said that if you are thirsty, come to me. If you believe in me, come and drink, for the scriptures declare that rivers of living water will flow out from within. And then you'll have, you might have different groups in the audience. You might have atheists. You might have somebody who has a Muslim background, or an atheist, or a Hindu, or a Buddhist. Because I've seen this happen, and the point is, swim doesn't. We don't withhold clean water from anybody, because the Scripture says in Revelation, it says again in chapter 22, verses 17, it says that the Spirit and the body say, "Come." Let each one who hears them say, "Come." Let the thirsty come. Let the thirsty ones come. Anyone who wants to, let them come and drink the water of life without charge. We don't ask for anything in return. We're just there to share this gift with them and the gift of living water. The Holy Spirit does the rest. Because it goes on, if you look in in Revelation, it also goes back and it talks about Apollos. In 1 Corinthians, it talks about the fact that my job is not I just plant. Somebody else comes along and waters it, but really it's God that's important, because he's the one who changes the heart. And when you go in, on every trip I've been, I pray for 30 days. I ask people to pray while you're there, because the Holy Spirit opens people's hearts to his word. And it's so natural talking about safe water and living water.
It absolutely is. The mission of Safe Water International Ministries. You can find out about Safe Water International Ministries right now by going to swimforhim.org, swimforhim.org. And if you'd like to see the device they're talking about in action, I've got a special number for you. I want you to text the word swim to 515-251-2663. If you do that right now, I'll send you a video. You can see how this thing works and a direct link to find out more about Safe Water International Ministries. We're going to learn more coming up in just a minute here on 99.3 FM, The Truth.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
In remote villages all around the world, people are dying from drinking infected water. And Safe Water International Ministries, the folks that are in front of me right now, have developed this device that's sitting on the table right here in the 99.3 FM studios. And they put these in the hands of Christian missionaries, men and women who take this device into those remote villages. And this device removes the infection from the water, giving these folks safe water. And in that process, it opens up the door for the gospel to be proclaimed, for lives to be changed. And it is truly a fulfillment of what God has called all of us to do, what God said, what Paul said God had done in and through him, working in and through him in power, not just in word, but in deed. It's often been said sometimes when people are sick and dying, they don't want to hear anything that you have to say, you silly-looking white man. Don't you understand that I'm dying? What if we could take care of that? What if we could help with that? We do, and they do. Safe Water International Ministries does just that. Then the ears are open. Then people are receptive to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. My guests today are the folks from Safe Water International Ministries, Terry Butler, Terry Pollard, and Earl Radcliffe, all of them here. Terry, you're up at the mic. Swing, sir.
You know, when you were talking, I was thinking about one of the recipients of a CPU in a remote area in India, where we have a guy named Pastor Wilson who is going to be on the show. He's available to call in, and you know, Wilson provided and started making chlorine in his local church, and it was a small church, and there was a lady in that village who was sick all the time, and she was, you know, kind of one of those people in the community that everybody knew. And so she came to the pastor and she started talking to him, and he provided safe water drops. So he provided these little bottles. He said, you put 10 drops of this in a liter of water every day and you drink it and tell me how you feel. And in a matter of weeks, she started to feel much better. And so she started telling her friends in the neighborhood, and Pastor Wilson's church started to grow. I mean, that's how it works.
What do you?
I'm sitting here.
Yeah,
I don't know if they can see. I'm sitting here looking at Earl, and Earl's got tears in his eyes because he's got a big heart. And he knows what this does. He's seen it on the ground, and I have too. So let me just tell you another story. So this comes out of Haiti. Earl, you remember the day? So we were around Jacmel, which is on the southwestern peninsula, the little arm that comes down on Haiti. Okay, actually got really devastated by the recent, hurricane. But remember the story? We went and visited with the pastor, and we were demonstrating again. We were just, I think, going to get a video. Actually, I think we were doing a video PR. Remember the pastor? Yeah, we wanted to get his story, and so he's there, and we're outside his house, and his family has been ill and in need. But anyway, he comes out, and we want to get his story. We want to capture it on video. And he comes out, and he does this whole thing for us so we can see. He does know how to do it. And then he said, here's what he does. Wasn't it every week he takes a little 3-ounce, he takes enough chlorine to fill everybody's little 3-ounce bottles like you'd carry on an airline, and he goes to 200 homes in that village and personally delivers to make sure everybody's getting enough for that little, wasn't it a 3-ounce bottle they were in or something like that? So he's actually, and as a pastor, I'm standing there watching him, and he's telling his story while we shoot this video PR, and I'm thinking, wow, another piece of pastoral ministry I'd never thought about. I mean, I don't go door to door delivering 3-ounce bottles, but it's past. I mean, he took it seriously, and as I recall, remember his church was like literally growing because he now had a new connection into every home in that village. It was his evangelism tool. He was literally going door to door every week or every 2 weeks. He'd produce it all at his house, and then he'd take this and never ask. And the people would wonder what cost was involved, and nothing. We're just here to make a difference. And then the reports, as I know, were coming out of that little community that there was disease was being taken care of. I mean, he was giving some stories on the PR. Yeah, and so Earl's got the tears right now while they tell the story. I mean, it moves you. It's just life-changing.
Right.
Do you have anything to add to that, Earl?
No, it was his evangelism tool. And it was fascinating just to watch the pastor have a heart for his community.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very cool. Safe Water International Ministries. Go online to swim, SWIM, right? swimforhim.org. Right now, you can check out more. You can see videos there. If you were in front of your mobile phone, I've got a special text number for you. And the reason why I'm giving you this special number is not because it's weird. It's an automated thing. Because you can text this number, 515-251-2663. You just send the word swim to that number. Instantly, you'll get a response. So you can see a link to their website. You can watch a video and get more information about Safe Water International Ministries. If you text the word swim to 515-251-2663. And guys, I'm just so excited to have you guys here, and we're going to talk more about this and hear more stories. Now, Terry, you said that you've got somebody calling in for us. Is that going to be next hour?
Yeah, we have Pastor Wilson, who is a guy that is a pastor in India, and we've been working with Pastor Wilson for about 4 years, and he happens to be in the U.S. right now. He's staying at one of our board members' house up in Michigan, and he would just love to share some of the testimony about what's going on in his part of the world through this ministry and what God has provided him.
Absolutely. I think it's, you've heard me say this on the radio now quite a bit, but we take for granted how easy it is to just go up to our sink, drink some water, and we don't even think anything about it. In fact, most of us in the United States don't drink enough water, right? Good, Terry.
So, yeah, let me tell you a little humorous story. Kind of ties in with
about 1 minute.
The clean water. So the story is, back in Haiti, when I'm there, you do a shower outside, curtains around you, and, you're just kind of out there, and you do it by buckets every day. This is how precious water is to them, even when it's not clean, even for showering or whatever you do. They brought me 2 gallons of water for my shower that day, and somebody went down to a water place to get it and bring it up. What was humorous is the missionary I was with, he actually had hair and I don't. He said, well, you're good. You got an extra half gallon. I get 1.5 gallons, but he said, we're giving you 2 gallons because they know you're the missionary here. And they want you to have more than what I have. And they're even trying to give away their precious water, which is at a premium, so that a missionary can have a shower. And I can tell you this, when I used that water, it was hard. I didn't use the 2 gallons. I used 1 gallon because I realized how precious that water, 1 gallon of that water, what it would do if it was clean, making a difference. It just you just can't help but when you use water, you just think of how valuable and precious it is when you've been in those places.
Absolutely.